Unmute everything. Switches to the right screen. Okay. So, welcome guys to our little Klingon mini campaign for the Ophion group. Just have one or two announcements at the top of the session, then we'll get right into it. First thing being that this little mini campaign will last probably for the next 1 to 2 weeks. Beginning of November, though, so the 3rd of November, we'll switch back to quote-unquote normal Ophion. We're just doing this to have a little fun, have a little break of the mold, that sort of thing. Other announcement is that starting, what is that week? Starting the 24th of November, we might be skipping to every other week because of the holidays, but more on that as I know people's schedules and my own. In any event, I think that's really all I have to say at the top of session, so let's just go ahead and dive right into our little Klingon mini campaign. So, all of you are obviously not playing your own main characters, and I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves in a little bit here. But to sort of set the scene, the year is 2379, so about the same time that everything in Ophion is going around. And you find yourselves kind of almost on the opposite side of the galaxy. The Ophion crew is neck deep in affairs of the Sabine Expanse, while the Klingon Empire is renewing efforts to explore the Shackleton Expanse. That is, quite literally, you guys in Ophion are in the Alpha Quadrant, and Shackleton Expanse is in the Beta. So, quite literally opposite sides of the galaxy. The goal for the Klingons is to discover and claim new territory for the good of the Empire. And that is where the crew, yourselves, of the IKS H'stuhmak comes into play. Now, the H'stuhmak is a Vorcha-class vessel that is on the leading edge of the ships in the Shackleton Expanse. It is crewed by the Empire's finest, including a few exchange officers from other cultures such as the Federation. At the moment, the bridge crew is discussing the poor state of the meal they had earlier while the ship flies along at leisurely warp 5. And I'll put us on the bridge. So obviously, Drake's character is not here, so the commander is here in spirit, but is going to be played by me rather than Drake for the moment. But let's go ahead and start with, what is that, Paya Pilabrine, and we'll go up from there in Discord. So if you could introduce your character, very brief description of them, and anything you think we should know.
Me first?
That would be Jackson, assuming his mic is cooperating.
Let's hope it is. So I am a exchange officer, Serrata Draco, Lieutenant Playbreen, and I am the sensors and operations officer. Grew up on the homeworld, or on a frontier colony, excuse me, to artistic parents, and decided to go Starfleet, kind of engineering and operations.
Cool. Next up, Locke, who are you playing?
I am Lieutenant Pag. I'm the helms officer. You'll notice that I have a wheelchair. A little like the wheelchair Sir Xavier had in Days of Future Past, with pretty much just leg rest.
Okay.
It's I should be committing ritual suicide because I cannot walk and hold a bat'leth overhead. But since I can hold a bat'leth, I am going to continue to fight it, serve my empire for a time.
That's all we can ask of you, man. Okay, up next, Murthrin, who are you playing?
Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, let's say, Murthrin, did you mute yourself, or did we lose you?
Oh, whoops, sorry, forgot about push to talk. So I'll be playing Captain Kotokla. And he's a sort of slightly not quite aristocratic Klingon, but just like from one of the houses.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of spent a lot of his early career dealing more with the politics side in Kronos. But, he sort of chafed under that. It wasn't really for him, so he got himself onto a ship as early as he could and sort of just worked his way up to captain from there.
Gotcha. And finally, Panek, who are you playing today?
I'm playing Yidol Says, and I'm from the fortified military world of Tycho Corps. My family is well-renowned in the KDF. All of my family have gone into it, and I have a constant sneer on my face as I look at Plebrine and Gortek. He's a bit on the stocky side, not too big, but he's beefy. He's well built, and I'm the tactical officer.
Okay. And as I move some tokens around, get everything situated, go ahead and pretend you are discussing last night's meal. In particular, someone, I won't name names, but someone made it so that the plate of gagh that all of you enjoyed was not exactly the freshest thing in the world.
Yeah. And instead of being half dead, instead of being nice and swimming, it was half dead.
Something like that.
As long as it is food, it nourishes. You need to move as well.
I groan at this, and I don't know. I don't expect to be able to keep anything down on this ship when you let these honorless talk on our vessel, Captain.
What have I told you about throwing that around? Save it for when it matters.
You dishonor the legacy of this ship name, and if you don't consider your actions carefully, you will find my talk in your belly.
Yeah, Bill even sort of gives him the time of day and just sort of gestures at Commander Gortek to deal with him.
All right, and apologies, Drake, if I play your character a little bit weird, but I will do my best not to get killed. So Commander Gortek is who Drake would be playing. I honestly don't know a little bit about his backstory, but that's okay. We'll make it up as we go. So the commander just sort of shoots you a glance, says, and gives you a knock it off or I will take care of you here and now kind of a thing. And it's one of those things where it doesn't quite devolve into violence, but it can if you really want it to.
I mean, it's a Klingon ship. A punching match happens every second week.
Yeah.
I don't say anything, but the look I'm giving Plebrine and Pog does not leave my face at all.
Okay. Fair. So it is at that time, and again, I'm going to butcher names a couple times, so bear with me. So Katakla, I'm saying that right?
Yep.
Okay, so Katakla, your yeoman, or whatever the Klingon equivalent of is, so whipping boy, probably. Your yeoman comes in, and she is bearing a pad. And I thought I had a token for her, but I can't find it, so we'll just use our imagination. She comes in, she holds a pad up to you, and you see on it that there is a bit of news regarding your house. And specifically, your house is currently in talks to... where is it? Well, let me ask this about your house. Would you say your house is more... focused on the military-industrial machine, more on sciences, or something else entirely?
Probably more the sciences. I envision them as sort of like the sort of house that sort of does things through politics rather than military prowess.
Okay, in that case, option 2. In that case, the pad is showing that your house has recently made inroads with the Klingon Institute of Science, something we don't hear about a whole lot. And more specifically, they are marrying off your half-brother to one of the head researchers at the Institute. And this is more or less an invitation to show up at their wedding.
Yeah, so I'll sort of read that from that. Ha! They found a use for the old fool after all.
And
Good news, everyone! We're invited to a wedding.
Hmm.
Yes, turns out the family found a use for my half-brother and are marrying him off to a Klingon in the Science Institute.
Your yeoman just kind of looks at you and says, "So, sir, I should apply or reply that we are going to be in attendance?"
It's not like there's anything else to do out here. So send the invitation. Send the invitation back in.
As you wish, sir. And ironically, the moment you say, nothing happens out here. Both Gorteg and Pilbreen, the moment that he says that, you both are going to get something on your sensors. And what you're detecting is a general distress call. As in, it has the basic, everything basic about it. Like it says, hey, we're in distress, here's our coordinates. It does not include a message, or if it does, it's so badly garbled that you can't decipher it. And as I said, it is just so basic that, again, all you really get are distress and a set of coordinates.
Captain, distress call coming in.
This far out? Do we recognize the system?
You do. The system in question is the Bouvelia system, and I'll put that in chat. You know, just off the top of your heads, or at least skimming your computer readouts, that there is a remote colony of Pharazans on the planet.
Pharazans, what are those?
So Pharazans are a felinoid species that is very closely related to the Caitians. They are the products of a genetic engineering program around about 800 years ago. Now, compared to Caitians, they are sort of a more darker furred, saber-toothed type felinoid. But they also, some of them even possess telepathic abilities. Let's see what else I have notes about them. If you play Star Trek Online, they are one of the unlockable races for the KDF. But probably more relevant to this game, that Pharazans put a very high value on loyalty, even though betrayals are about as common as they are in Klingon society. And that...
Oh, so not at all.
Yeah, so clearly not at all. And the telepathic ability I mentioned is more prominent in females, which means that they have a more matriarchal society than the Caitians. Also, small fun fact, they believe themselves far superior to Caitians, and that they relish the opportunity to prove this in combat wherever possible, which is probably why they work with the Empire.
There's a remote colony in the system. It's the Bouvelia system.
Haven't heard from them in a while. Plot a course. Let's see what's going on here.
Aye, Captain. Watching.
Shall I send a response?
Well, given how garbled it is, I doubt they'll get it, but may as well.
Understood.
Beginning disruptor pre-charge, Captain.
It's gonna take us a little while to get there.
2 days, in fact.
2 days of charging.
It's the slow cooker of disruptors. You just gotta put it in the pot, let it simmer for
Our
2 days.
enthusiasm is misplaced, but noted and appreciated.
Oh, dear.
Oh. Whoop! How fast do Vorchars go?
So, I looked it up. You guys can go at a top speed of 9.6. If you want to get there in 2 days, you could just go at warp 7. But if you would prefer to get there, obviously, much faster, you can go your maximum warp, and you'll get there, I believe it's like a day and a little change.
No, I'd say warp 7.
Okay. All right.
No sense burning out the engines before we know what's going on.
Gotcha.
Warp 7.
All right. So, along the way, I'm going to copy everyone's token, because I've worked hard getting these maps in here. and we're going to have a brief kind of strategy meeting here in the war room. So let's see. Commander will be off to the side since he's not here. Pa, you'll be there. I'm going to keep saying Pa because it looks like the Bajoran thing, that they, the whole ear thing. Let's see. All right, adjust for the stream. All right, so you all have met in the war room, both to discuss hopefully the better state of your next meal and the colony information dump that I'm basically going to give you. So, first things first, probably the most important thing to you all anyway. The Ga tonight is actually wriggling, and it is very good, I guess you would call it breed or type. Very juicy, marinated in targ blood, very, very delectable. But as far as the colony is concerned, on that table where you see on the map, it's the Enterprise D. Instead of the Enterprise D, if you will imagine sort of a holographic display of the planet. Bouvelia 3 is probably one of the largest deposits of dilithium ever recorded in the Beta Quadrant, which is saying something, considering how many planets and how many moons, etc., that both the Federation, the Romulans, and the Klingons have come across. So that makes Bouvelia 3 a very, shall we say, important facility in that, obviously, that fuel, the dilithium fuel, is really the driving force behind any starship activity in the sector, as well as things like starbase construction, freighter traffic, things of that nature. The colony itself is led by Administrator Penuri, and it is manned by approximately 200 workers, researchers, administrators, and support staff. And quick logistics check, if you need to, you can accommodate all 200 aboard, but it's not going to be pleasant.
I mean, Klingon ship, of course not.
There is no honor in saving lives. No glory.
Actually,
I think that is
actually, that's a good point. I wonder what the Klingon sort of outlook is on saving people, even if they're Klingons. I mean, probably just a general, why do you need saving in the first place? But even so.
well, considering they were going to bomb their own colonies when they had a plague.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Still, largest dilithium mine in the Beta Quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
Considering its position and its resources, this is most likely raiders. We should be prepared for combat.
Indeed. Also, potentially some sort of mining accident. We should probably have some engineering staff on standby.
With the amount of dilithium there, we should definitely look into it, but we also have to be careful because of dilithium's unstable natures at some times.
I know where I shoot.
Well, let's not go blowing it up just yet.
Yes, I imagine they will be most filled with gratitude for being saving their weak, pathetic little lives.
Laying it on there a little thick, but okay. Out of character. Well, no, not out of character, but like in and out of character. So roughly in relation to the other powers, are we nearish to like the Romulans of the Federation, or is this like out in Klingon only space?
Let's see. Did I do the smart thing and put a map in here? No, of course I didn't. So let me just very briefly draw on this same map. So in yellow, let's say that this is the border of the Klingon Empire, and that this is kind of the Federation's. The Shackleton Expanse, which I'll draw in green. The Shackleton Expanse is everything. Well, that did not draw properly. The Shackleton Expanse is basically this green area, and you are as far northwest as you can go in the Shackleton Expanse.
Alrighty. So, pretty much out of the road of any outside interference, as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, and its position makes for interesting opportunities, Captain. Once we have solved whatever trivial problem they've sent calling for help, we should consider a protection plan for them. They are very rich with dilithium, and we are very well armed.
Yeah, well, what is the situation sort of like? Are they an independent colony? Have they been folded into the Empire?
As Farazans, they are indeed. This is a Empire facility, and you do know that they have, basic defenses that Klingons would put pretty much on everything, even an ice cream cart. So it's not like they don't have the means to defend themselves, but obviously it's not as awesome as a Vorcha class.
I mean, few things are.
Indeed.
Well, probably not a huge amount we can do in terms of preparation before we get there and find out what the situation is. So, I guess cut to arriving in system?
Well, there is one thing I want to do before we do. So, Jester, I would like you to roll me either a Reason plus Con or an Insight plus Con. Difficulty here is only a 1.
Gonna do insight con then. Not knowing anything, I'm not gonna try to argue any focuses.
Hey, one's all you need.
Huzzah!
All right, so what you're going... Well, let me check your focuses real fast, because I think you've got one that applies. No, actually you don't. Nice.
The second roll is a 17, so...
Yeah. Okay. So, what you realize is that the Oort cloud that surrounds the system, typically what you do is you come on the edge of the system and impulse the way in. You're definitely going to have to do that for the Bouvelia system, because the Oort cloud is particularly dense and requires very precise, very careful navigation to avoid any damage to the deflectors.
You'll need to drop out of warp some distance away from the planet and go in an impulse.
Well,
there's
I'll
quite a
see
bit
to
of debris around the...
This would make the colony very vulnerable to surprise raids, Captain, as any responding vessel would have to do the same. This gives the attackers time to escape.
But
indeed.
getting in and leaving would be tricky as well.
Unless, of course, yeah. No, actually, no, going in under cloak would be a bad idea, because then we can't have shields. And you need those going through an asteroid belt.
I would not recommend it. I am an adequate helmsman. That foolhardy.
Alrighty, so...
Now,
Would I know?
Oh, go ahead.
Would I know what kind of nearby, any kind of like pirate groups nearby that would be possibly to suspect?
I would say, in general, the Orion Syndicate operates out of the Shackleton Expanse, but not really this far out. Okay.
Alrighty.
So we cut back to the bridge as you all arrive in system. So, you drop out of warp on the periphery of the Bouvelia system. And at the moment, sensors are unable to get concrete readings from the colony. However, you are detecting a strange structure floating relatively nearby the H'stuhmak in the Oort cloud. It is roughly about the size of a Cavort-class bird of prey, which means it's similar in size to a Vorcha, just smaller. I would say if I had to use scale, a Vorcha is a scale 5, and this is more upper 4, lower 5.
All right, weapons and shields up. Let's go investigate.
Okay. So, I need our lovely helmsman to roll me a control plus con. Difficulty 2, please. And someone needs to roll for the H'stuhmak. The H'stuhmak will be assisting with sensors and con. Also, I will apologize. Apparently, I forgot to eat lunch today, so if that comes through the mic, I apologize. All right, so that's 2 successes. Hey, 2's all you need. All right, so your helmsman. All right, Pog, Pag, Pog,
Pog.
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 Pog, you navigate just fine. You're able to get the big old Vorcha, navigating these big chunks of ice and rock, no problem. And on the view screen,
quick question. Sorry,
Yes.
just for future reference, if I'm rolling for the ship, are the talents kind of like the focuses for the characters? Because this has an advanced sensor suite.
Oh, you know what? It does. I did give you that. So actually, you guys have a point of momentum. Good call. And as you can see, our momentum for this little mini campaign is little Klingon tokens. All right. Pog, you get the ship moving, and sure enough, on the view screen, after a few moments, is what I would describe is, if you will imagine, a hornet's beehive. A hornet's beehive. You know what I mean. It's very hexagonal in nature. Very, what's the word I want? It's organic looking, and for the moment, it seems dormant. You're not seeing really any activity either around or inside, or at least as far as your sensors can penetrate in this structure, whatever it is.
Is this in any way familiar to anything in the database?
Nope.
Shall I run a scan on it, Captain?
Yes, let's see what we're dealing with. Look for
Alright.
weaknesses.
So if you can now
And
roll
weapons.
me, let's see, let's do reason science, assisted by the ship's sensor science, and accounting for advanced sensor suites, the difficulty is a 2.
Sensors operation as a...
Yep, sensors operation as a focus works. Alright, there's 1 from the ship. Nice. So that is a total of 2 momentum. So your sensors do confirm the fact that it is organic in nature, and that it is strangely warp capable, or at least you're reading an energy signature that would indicate such.
Looks organic in nature, Captain. Warp capability is likely based on the power signatures.
Alrighty. Keep weapons primed and get ready to get a lock on if they turn hostile. Let's try hailing them and demanding to know what they're doing here.
Okay. So your commander opens up a
whoever the
channel.
communications officer is.
It would be Commander Gorteg at this point. So he just opens up the channel and says, "Whenever you're ready, sir."
Unknown alien vessel, this is Captain Katokla of the of the IKS H'stuhmak. Explain your presence here.
So there's just silence, and Gorteg says, I confirm that they are receiving, sir, but we are getting no reply on any channel."
Shall I send a warning shot?
Good idea. Fire a warning shot across their bow.
Aye, Captain.
All right, you using your disruptors or using torpedoes?
Disruptors.
Yeah. No sense wasting the torpedoes until we're actually hitting something.
Okay. So you fire disruptors, and Gorteg says, "Still nothing, sir."
Have they raised shields?
I need says if you can roll me a insight security assisted by the ship's sensors security.
I've got shipboard tactical systems as a focus. Does that apply?
Yeah, that'll apply.
What's the dice pool?
What do you mean? It should just be your
It was
insight
reason plus-
security.
Yeah, insight security.
Oh, I only rolled one. I meant to do 2d20, sorry.
That's okay.
So I just rolled another one.
Yeah, just roll another one.
Apply the focus or not?
Yeah, apply the focus. Ooh,
Yikes.
complication.
What was that for the ship?
Let's say this. You can spend the 2 momentum you just got to avoid that complication.
Okay.
Alright, so you stay at 3 total. But the result is that you don't think they have shields, much less any weaponry that you're detecting.
There is no honor or glory in defeating a helpless foe.
Alright, quick consultation with the bridge crew. Do we send a boarding party over to investigate, or do we ignore it and head on to the colony?
I'd say this is tedium and it's delaying what we came here to do. They have no weapons, no shield. They do not answer us. They are not worthy of our attention.
I worry about an ambush from behind.
An ambush with what weapons?
None that we know of.
Then we will fight them when they come.
I look down at my ruined legs and I am hesitant to risk being ambushed from behind.
No, you are not hesitant. You are full of fear and cowardice.
I have seen what can happen from a surprise attack. I have watched my friends burn and die. My crewmates' screams echoing in me. I will not rest until I've avenged them and done an act of glory in each of their names to earn them a place in Stovok.
So you would...
And there is no glory here, but I do not turn my back on a potential ever again.
On the one hand, this is a lot of squabbling. On the other hand, I kind of just want to sit back and watch the melodrama.
I know, right? It's the whole reason I picked Klingons for you guys.
Let's see. Let's see if they react. Let's see if they react to potential bait. Plot a course for the colony. Keep the sensors trained on the ship until we're well out of the Oort cloud.
Weapons charged, Captain. And then I sneer at Pog.
Okay. So, Pog, if you could roll me another control and con, and the ship will again assist with sensors con. And difficulty here is still going to be a 2. Okay, so that's already 3 successes. What does the ship get you?
What am I rolling for the ship, sorry?
Sensors con.
I plot a very tempting course that leaves our flank very vulnerable, almost wiggling temptingly as we fly away.
All right. So, yeah, you're up to 5 momentum. Good.
Yada yada, crafty hunter.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, you pilot we'll say a scenic route through the Oort cloud that very much shows off your rear flank, and nothing happens. The structure just kind of remains sitting there. And yeah, you fly towards the planet, and sure enough, in short order, you arrive in orbit. And you go ahead and we'll say you do very basic scans, nothing rollable.
Yep.
And
Try to hail the colony.
Let's see, gotta find it in my notes. All right, so visual scans are revealing no significant damage to the planet, save for the main settlement itself. and these images will kind of pop up on the view screen. You see that the city's landing pad is strewn with wreckage of the colony's only warp-capable transport ship. You're not seeing any visible humanoid activity, but that's pretty much all you're really able to determine from orbit, because there is a abnormal amount of electromagnetic anomalies on the surface of the planet. This also means that transporting down would be ill-advised. Well, unless you want to turn into, like, soup, but, hey, you do you.
Can we get a visual on the electromagnetic interference, or is it, like, hidden in the colony buildings?
It's not just in the colony buildings, it is across the entire surface of the planet.
Alright. Sensor officer, do a quick sweep around of the colony and the surrounding areas. Look for a good landing zone for a shuttlecraft.
Aye, sir.
All right. And we'll say it's...
So somewhere with cover that a raiding party can approach from.
Let's see. Let me just quickly shuffle some tokens around here. All right. The interesting part at this point is, would you be sending someone down yourselves, or would you be going as your characters? And the good thing about Klingons is that usually captains all.
I was just going to have the captain lead an away party.
Okay.
Says will go down too.
Basically, I'm making sure that nobody wants to stay behind. Yeah. In that case, we'll say that after getting a suitable set of coordinates for landing, we'll cut to you all piling into a shuttle.
This is the fun part about Klingons. They can fire warning shots and go on away missions. They get all the fun.
Yep. All right. So it is a little cramped. I mean, Klingon shuttles aren't necessarily known for their spaciousness. I mean, you're not the cushy Federation after all. And, you launch out of the H'stuhmak and fly down towards the planet. And as you go, as you pierce the atmosphere and come down and start flying towards the colony, I need you to roll me a Control plus Con, difficulty 2. And I need... Pilbreen, I need you to roll me a Reason Science at difficulty 2.
I'm gonna buy a dice with threat for this.
With threat or momentum?
With threat.
We have fun.
Okay. That's why I asked.
Well,
okay, so that'll get you up to 6 momentum.
I get to re-roll if I buy with threat.
Do you want a crit fish?
No.
I'll buy a die with momentum. Do I have a focus that'll apply?
Yes, you do.
I think we're good.
All right. So, Pog, no problem. You could pilot this in your sleep. However, your lovely token Serato Draco is detecting that the EM interference is stronger in some parts of the planet and weaker than others, with some of the disturbances moving about at random.
This EM interference is acting extremely strange.
Stranger than already appearing without cause.
Yeah, based on the spaceship we saw at the edge of the system, I'd say expect to be pounced on by alien invaders as soon as we get in.
I pull out my talk and then my disruptor, and I say, then I will welcome their advances.
Let's see if we can't.
said.
Let's see if we can't get you to survive another mission or two yet.
Oh, dear. All right. So my main question to you all is, do you land on the periphery of the colony? Do you actually land in the landing pad next to the wreckage of the other craft? Or do you just kind of hover the shuttle over a spot and just drop a few people off?
And I was intending to park the shuttle sort of at the periphery and then work our way in.
Okay.
Fine. Recomputing other course. Plotting and landing right in the middle.
Okay. So, you set her on down and you all pile on out. And we'll use a little bit of theater of the mind here. When you step out, it is pretty much the same thing you saw from orbit. The buildings themselves are all sporting some form of battle damage. Some of them are sporting scorch marks. Others are strangely intact and immaculate. But what really matters is that you are not hearing anything, which is odd. For a colony like this of 200 people, you should be hearing something, but you're not hearing a single thing.
All right, let's head to the central command, command tower or whatever, see what we can find.
Okay. So the buildings are such that the shorter buildings are at the periphery, and as you get closer to the center of the colony, they grow taller and taller and taller. And as you go working your way through the buildings, working your way through the streets, again, you're not seeing anything, not even bodies of people. You are, again, seeing battle damage here and there, but there should be something. I mean, 200 people don't just vanish like this. And eventually you come to the main sort of central command terminal for the facility. And the other thing that I need to say before I say this next bit is, along the way, obviously you do pass some terminals and some computer interfaces. All of them appear to be either non-functional or otherwise they don't have any data on them. But when you get to the main terminal, you do see that it is powered somewhat and that it might be possible to get some data off of it.
Alrighty, so whichever one of us is most sciencey.
I shoot the terminal.
Yeah, you shoot the terminal.
Can we tell what type of weapons made those scorch?
If you would like to roll me a insight security at a difficulty of 3, sure. And also, Jackson, I think you said that you wanted to do it, but you did robot there, so let's just double check.
Yeah, I said I would do it. My science is a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
You're gonna roll me we'll say a control plus science, difficulty 4 for you.
I'm gonna buy 1 die for sure.
Okay.
I cannot tell what type of energy weapons these were.
Yeah, Pog, you got nothing. They're energy weapons, but besides that, can't tell.
Computer focus.
Computer focus would apply here, yeah. Remember, it is a difficulty 4, so you might want to spend more than 1.
Yeah, momentum. I'll go ahead and buy another one.
Okay, so you're down to 3 momentum overall.
I'm going to re-roll that 0 with cautious science.
Okay. Oh, you deleted the shuttlecraft, but that's okay. I'll get it back on there.
Oh, sorry.
I'll use a different token. No big deal. Okay. So you get a momentum back. Good news there. The other good news is you are able to pull up what appears to be some sort of log from the main computer banks. Again, the computer here, even though it was better shielded than the terminals that you've encountered thus far, there should be more data than this. But what you do find is the following. And all of you would see this as the file begins playing on the view screen. And you see that there is a male Farazan that is frantically trying to describe something over audible shouting and explosions in the background. And the individual says, they came out of nowhere. I don't know where they came from or what they are or what the hell they want, but they dropped out of the sky and attacked without warning. I'm leaving this in hopes that someone out there hears us and knows that we're moving into the shelter north of the settlement. Please, if you're hearing this, save. And then it cuts off as a burst of static overwhelms both the image and the audio.
Well, we've got a location at least. Pull any sensor logs off that thing you can and let's move out.
Will do.
All right. So the settlement in question is something you're either going to spend an hour trekking to on foot, or it is something you can just hop in your shuttle and get there within a few minutes, kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah. Shuttle, I think.
Okay. So, you pile on all back into the shuttle and start flying towards the shelter. And everything seems to be going great until you get about halfway. And if you will imagine, I guess, Pog, you would see this first since you're at the helm. You are seeing some rather shuttle-sized type objects, a pair of flying creatures that are approaching from below. And they're emitting strong magnetic fields that would be identifiable as the source of the EM interference.
Apparently, the EM interference is organic in nature. Creature.
Oh, evasive maneuvers, shoot them down.
Aye, Captain.
Aye.
And we're gonna move into pseudo ship combat here. Nothing too major. But let's see. So we'll just throw them there, and I'll throw their turn on.
Klingons, shoot first, ask questions later.
Yep. Where did I put their token? I know I put it here somewhere. There it is. I don't know why it was on that layer, but it was. Alright. So, you guys do get the first attack, if you so wish. Again, as kind of a visual reminder, these creatures are coming from the surface of the planet up to you all.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so... Actually, yeah. So how do the weapons on this shuttle work? Is it like a pilot and a gunner, or...?
I would say that pilot and a gunner is probably the easiest way to think of it. And you as captain would have prime choice if you wanted to be the gunner.
Yep. We'll go for that.
But yeah, otherwise, just treat it like normal ship combat. Obviously, we're simplifying it a little bit here because we're dealing with small craft. But yeah. So which would you guys like to do first is the question.
Evader attack.
I can also scan for weakness.
Could do that too.
Yep, that works.
Alright, so let's see. Scan for weakness as I pull up the rules. Scan for weakness. Alright, so you're going to be rolling a control science with a difficulty of 1. And there should be a sheet for the shuttle. The shuttle is going to be rolling a sensors security.
Alrighty, got that.
Would sensor operation act as a focus?
Oh yeah. It's a very good focus to have. Ooh, complication. Do you want to spend 2 momentum to get rid of that complication, or are we going to roll with it?
I'm tempted to roll with it.
Might as well roll with it.
What is it?
See what happens.
Okay.
3 votes, I think.
Yeah, alright, that's all we need. So, you roll with it, and what happens is, you do get a lock. However, it's very ephemeral, and I'm going to say you actually do not get piercing 2 out of it. You'll get piercing 1 instead. And the reason for that is obviously the EMI, the electromagnetic interference, is definitely coming from these creatures and is making it hard to get a lock on them.
Yeah, lock onto that thing what makes locking on impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You can always just manually target them.
Could do that too.
Indeed. I used to be a fairly good shot back at the academy. And he'll actually do we need to spend momentum to keep the initiative, or
You would indeed, unless one of you has quick to
I have-
action.
I have quick to action. I was about to suggest that.
All right, there
Alrighty.
you go.
no? I'll use that to fire the disruptor bank at one of the creatures.
Okay, so you're rolling a control security. The shuttlecraft is rolling a what I believe is weapons plus security. And let's see, overall difficulty for you is a 2.
With my since this is ship combat, and I kind of just used one talent, even though he was doing the thing. Would my bold security work as well?
If you were assisting or doing the roll, I would say yes.
All right, that's what I was asking.
I'll spend a momentum to get a third die.
Okay.
No applicable focuses, because I went with all the hand-to-hand stuff. Ooh.
Yeah, I should be the one shooting since I actually have focus for
I
sure.
think so.
Well, do you want to... let me ask this. Do you want to roll with the complication, or do you want to re-roll it via determination?
I was hoping to re-roll via determination, because I have one that works.
I mean, it's
And
up
that
to
would be
you.
a-
Just remember that determination is kind of a one-session thing unless you challenge a value. So you may want to save it, you may not. I'm just offering it as an option.
Oh, well, I definitely don't want to lose face in front of the crew, so... I'll be using the value, a leader must lead from the front.
Okay.
Zeb rolls his eyes.
So, I forget now, when you do determination, you just re-roll all the dice, or just the ones that failed?
As many as you would like.
Alright, so those last two then. Control security. There we go.
Hey, it's not a complication. That's what matters. And that is 2 successes. I'm not seeing the ship. Someone needs to roll the shuttle's weapon security for me.
Okay.
You got that.
There we go.
Okay. So, yeah, 2 successes is all you need. So I believe I also have in the shuttle sheet what your disruptors do as damage. It's not great, but, you know, it is something.
It is a shuttle.
Yeah, it is a
And
shuttle.
it has Vicious 1, so that helps.
Yeah, so, yeah, 3 challenge die, vicious 1. And you do get piercing 1 on this as well.
Now, what does piercing do again?
For
Does it
every
affect the roll
effect-
directly, or...?
Yeah, for every effect, it's 1 resistance off. Okay,
That's not
so that would be 5 damage, taking off 1 resistance. Okay. So, yeah, you fire your disruptor at the squid thing, and squid thing doesn't seem to give a single shit. The squid thing, in fact, just shakes it off and fires right back at you. And I need to actually put that button on here. Here we go. Change the color. Let's see how they roll. Well,
Ooh.
good news. Well, maybe not so good news. They do hit you, but well, that is kind of bad news. They do hit you, so a strike of plasma causes the entire shuttle to rock and buckle as Pog struggles to keep control of the ship. And immediately, those of you who are at least in the cockpit area are seeing a drain of power. More specifically, over 2/3 of your power has been drained away. And I think, let's see. Yeah, and I would say about half your shields as well.
Oof.
Yeah, shuttles don't have much.
I think that's as good a sign as any that an emergency landing is in order.
Emergency landing in process.
All
Taking
right.
her down quickly.
So, Pog, I need you to roll me a daring plus con. Difficulty here is going to be a 2. And a complication here would not be good for you.
Daring and con. How about
That would
combat
be very
maneuvers for
cinematic.
focus?
And combat maneuvers would be good, yes.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty here is going to be a 2.
Does the shuttlecraft assist?
Yeah, I'll let the shuttle assist. Let's do engines and con from the ship.
Not a good roll. Should have had an extra die. Oh well.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is obviously, Pog, you do get the shuttlecraft down, but the landing is a lot more, shall we say, energetic than you were hoping. You don't quite crater into the ground, but you do leave one hell of a skid mark across the surface of the planet as all of you are kind of thrown about the cabin. And I need each of you now to roll me a fitness plus security. And the difficulty here is only going to be a 1. However, if you fail this, you will be taking a small minor injury.
Would my extravehicular operations factor in here?
I would say no, because you are not, like, actually...
In space?
Yeah, in space. So
How about the ignore pain focus?
I would say ignore pain does apply here.
Oh, I get the 1 success I need.
Okay. All right, so there's a momentum from Pa. Momentum from Says. And does your lovely sensor operations... Oh, look at that. 2 momentum from him, so I think you're capped. Nice. So, all of you are fine. Remember, it's a cap of 6. Yeah, all of you are completely fine.
I have not only landed the shuttle, I have provided us with cover in the form of Earth.
Oh.
So speaking of, I think Katokla sort of, as soon as the shuttle's sort of finished moving, he sort of bounds out and sort of combat rolls into a defensive position with his disruptor out.
Okay. So you hop out of the shuttle, and I'm assuming all of you follow suit in some way, shape, or form. And what you see is in the air above you is what I would describe as a neon blue, almost translucent looking squid, sort of a giant squid, if you will. Whereas the big difference between it and a regular squid is, well, A, it's flying. B, the tentacles are a lot more pronounced and are crackling with energy. Maybe more octopus-like would be a better descriptor for them. But in general, these things are massive. Again, they are the size of a shuttlecraft. And one of the eyes of the creatures on one of them kind of rotates to look squarely at you, Captain. And what would you like to do?
I think he'll just go sort of, come at me then.
Okay. So you shout a challenge, and squid things don't seem to care. In fact, they just kind of rotate up and they begin flying away.
Can I shoot at them?
You certainly can shoot at them.
I'd like to aim for at least one of the eyes.
Okay. I will say that aiming for the eye specifically will require a +1 difficulty.
Alright, I'd like to buy momentum with threat. Then.
Oh, we have 6 momentum.
Yeah, you do have 6 momentum.
Yeah, but I want to use my bold talent.
Okay.
So.
Are you buying just the 1 dice?
Yeah, just the 1.
Dice? Okay, so it is going to be...
One with threat, and then like another one with some momentum.
What was that?
I'm just stack the bets. By like you spend some momentum as well, get like 2 extra dice.
Alright, yeah.
Okay, so 1 threat, I'm assuming, for the first dice, and 2 momentum for the second. Alright, so you're rolling a control security. The overall difficulty here is a 3.
I'm always fuzzy on this part. I just like 3d20 then, right?
Correct. No, for you, 4d20, sorry.
Okay, I've also got disruptors as a focus.
Yep, that would apply. Ooh, do you want to spend determination to reroll, or are we going to stick with that result?
Bold lets me reroll one automatically, so I'll reroll one.
Yeah, you need to get a crit here, though. Hey, crit you get. Look at that. All right. So let me, let's see. So I probably should have arranged a battle map for this, but I honestly didn't think the squid things would hit you that well. So let me just quickly throw in some numbers here so it's easy to track. All right. So one of the creatures continues on flying, but the one you hit is going to turn around. But let's see how much damage you do first.
That's the challenge die, right? Or no, I can roll off the sheet.
You can roll off the sheet, but, you know, whatever's easiest for you.
How many D20 is that on the selection?
So it's actually a number of challenge die. Which type of disruptor are you using?
I've only got the pistol on me.
Okay, then I believe it's all of, let's see, a base of 3, I believe.
Yeah, and it's got ranged and vicious 1.
Okay, so you're going to be rolling 3 plus your security, so a total of 8 challenge dice. And vicious 1 is in effect here. Okay, so that is what is that? That is a total of 9. Hey, look at that. So actually, that is enough to injure the creature. And were you aiming to kill, I'm assuming?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay. So again, I know the token isn't translucent blue squid, but, you know, I just kind of grabbed what I thought I could. So the creature actually craters to the ground right about here in relation to the shuttlecraft. And it is dead, or it is in the process of dying. And I guess we're out of combat.
I'm going to run over and scan the creature.
Okay. Let me ask this. How are you approaching it? Are you looking more from a scientific perspective, more of a medical perspective? Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Scientific perspective to see how it's generating the electromagnetic interference.
Okay. That case, let's have you do a reason science difficulty 3, because it is in the process of dying. And yeah, let's see how that works out for you.
I'm going to buy a third die.
Okay. Brings you to 3 momentum.
Would observation count as a focus?
I'll let it apply, sure. Hey, you get the 3 successes you need. So, you're going to note something very, very important. Is that the creature, even though it is, again, in its dying state, it appears to be quite literally converting raw dilithium into a food source. And that it is processing the dilithium, and it is that process which is both providing its means of propulsion, as well as the energy burst which struck your shuttle earlier.
Interesting.
These creatures are feasting off the dilithium, and it's giving them their propulsion as well as their ability to attack with this energy weapon.
That is a problem. We can't have these things eating the entire dilithium store on this planet. In the meantime, though, shelter.
Seb.
I reckon we're about 15, 20 minutes walk away.
Yeah, something like that.
Seb spits at this and walks over and pushes Plabrine out of the way, and then double taps the squid thing.
Okay.
I know how to deal with pests.
So, by that point, the squid thing is most definitely dead. So, unless you want to, like, disintegrate it, it just kind of sits there and takes the
Yeah,
shot.
no, like full charge disruptor, just absolutely out of my
Before you do
damn
that,
thing.
as you go to do that, though, so Kanokura will sort of like bring a hand up and sort of hold your wrist. Do you really want to put a full charge disruptor bolt into a source of unstable dilithium?
Yes.
There is wisdom in what you say, I guess.
Good too. I was about to roll a whole bunch of challenge die. Oh. I'm glad someone paid attention. It's always great when a player's like, eh.
Keep the weapon primed, though. I have a feeling we'll be blowing a few of these things up before the day's out.
Just be careful with the weapon, because we don't want to blow ourselves up with it if we can't deal with it in different ways.
Mm-hmm. And for mechanics' sake, what's going to happen is if you do hit it, but if you roll a complication, it will detonate.
So be careful.
Yeah, so be careful. All right, so at this point, you guys do have to make about a 15 to 20 minute trek through, well, the good news is it's not a very thick forest. It's more than enough for Pog's hover chair thing to circumnavigate, but it is going to take you some time. And my main question is, are you being stealthy? Are you rushing to get to the shelter? You know, how are you getting there is the question.
I think Captain to be having everyone head along at a brisk march.
Okay.
May I suggest, Captain, that we grab the disruptor rifles out of the shuttle?
A good idea.
Okay. Just be aware that disruptor rifles, I believe, carry a escalation cost of 2.
Ha! Ha! I laugh at your escalation cost.
Oh, well, what do you know? They say not available, which means I don't care, which means you can take them for free.
Yeah, it's only the Federation who has to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, you guys, you take everyone...
Klingons are at escalation 2 all the time.
Fair. Yeah, you all take up disruptor rifles, and you begin walking, well, hovering for some of you, at a brisk pace. And I would like someone, just one of you, to roll me a 1d100 to represent how lucky you are. A lower number here is better.
I can do that.
Okay, go for it. $73. Let me consult my chart. All right. So again, I'm semi-regretting not doing a map for this, but we can use the Theater of the Mind here. You know what? Let's actually use the Theater of the Mind map. That's right. That's why we have this stupid thing. All right. So let's see. Let's get you on here. And yeah, if you guys, once I get all your tokens in there, if you could arrange yourselves in your marching order, and I'll adjust it for the stream here in just a moment. All right, there you go. If you guys could adjust yourselves into your marching order.
Where's the front of the line?
Let's say to the left of the screen is to the front, and to the right is towards the back.
Everyone goes to
Everyone rushes to the left. All right, I think I got where we're going here. All right, so something like that. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to put you guys up top. And again, I apologize for not having a translucent blue squid token, but again, we'll just use with what I got on hand. For any of you familiar with Battlefleet Gothic, yes, I am using a Tyranid token. I thought it was appropriate. But relevant to you guys, what happens is about halfway through your trek, you do see another 2 translucent blue squids. Oh, there we go. I can color the token. Look at that. Another 2 squids do come up over the tree line and are headed in your direction. And we are going to move into actual combat here. It's been a while since we've done ground combat. So, let me add everybody to the turn. And just as a reminder, since, again, it has been a while since we've done ground combat, I believe I still have the... Did I? I actually did not put it in there. That's not good. Let me quickly look up what page we're on so that you all can look at the right thing. Let's see. So, minor actions and combat from then on starts on page 171 of Core. Remember, you guys get a single task and then a couple minors. Let's see. So, just remember that the magic number at the end of the day when it comes to injuries is 5 after resistance. And I believe all of you have the Thul talent, I think.
The Wrathful one, yeah.
Yeah. So all of you have a resistance 2 to the squid's attacks, just so you know.
Oh, that one. I think, actually, the captain doesn't have that one.
Okay, then you do not have the 2 resistance to the squid's attack. But it is going to be the player's turn first, so which one of you would like to go first?
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay, go for it. What do you want to do?
I'd like to shoot one.
Okay, left or the right one, just for my my housekeeping. Okay, I'll actually put names on these things so that you can see them.
What's the difficulty?
I mean, it is just firing with your disruptor. It's still going to be a control security difficulty 2. I'll look in a second.
I got a crit.
Hey, that's all you need.
We're using pistols or rifles?
That's
I forget
on you.
if you said. I'll definitely use a rifle if it's available. I mean,
Okay.
I just don't know what I don't know what the challenge die for them are.
Oh, 4 plus your security, so a total of 9 challenge dice, please. Yeah, that's enough. You cause the... Which one were you aiming for? The left or the right one?
Left.
Okay. So you cause creature B to erupt in a small detonation because you rolled over 10. That's the other effect. If you roll a complication or you roll over 10, it detonates. So the creature does explode tremendously. It's very almost like a firework in its tremendosity. That's a word. In its force and its vibrance. And even though, Pog, you're in a wheelchair, you feel through the ground how heavy this explosion is. And while the creature is no more, I would just say be careful with how much power you dump into your disruptors from here on out.
That was very satisfying.
It was very satisfying, though. I will give you that.
Well, Toklar will follow up with the seize the initiative.
Okay.
What's his face has.
Yeah, go for it.
Minor action to aim and firing with the rifle.
Alrighty. So again, control security, difficulty 2, and with aiming, you get to roll 1d20, I believe.
Well, the rifle has accurate, so
Hey, you can
basically
re-roll
what
a
that means
bunch.
is, yeah. So roll and then re-roll as many dice as you like.
Yep.
Not that I need it.
Not that you need it. So yeah, go ahead and roll me another 9 challenge dice. See how well these squids fare.
Let's see if the macro on the sheet works. Oh, no, that's just trying to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Alright, challenge dice.
Yeah. It blows up real good. How many is that? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Jesus. All right, yeah, it's... If the first one was a firework, this one is like a cluster bomb. It detonates in the forces so much that it literally bows the trees beneath of it. And you have to kind of brace yourselves or risk being knocked over from the force of the shockwave, but it's gone. Like, it is gone. However...
These are satisfying to kill.
However, such is the force of the explosion, and as noticeable as it is, another 2 creatures, as I get them off to the right layer. Yeah, so you see creature C and creature D now. They kind of float into view. And let me get them actually in the turn order. There we go. Okay, so that is your seizing the initiative. So it is now going to be one of the creatures' turn. We'll say creature C. And let's see how well it does. Ooh. Okay, let me double check the rules on area, because I don't want to be hitting too many of you guys if I don't need to. Let's see.
Area attack?
The attack automatically affects any character or damageable object within reach of the initial target, and then 1 additional target within close range of the initial target for each effect rolled. Okay, so it's per effects is what matters here.
This is probably asking too much,
Mm-hmm.
but could I? What's the word I'm looking for? I know my turn's already gone by, but is there any way I could use my close protection talent?
Tell me about your close protection talent, because I don't know it off the top of my head.
When you make a successful attack, you may spend 1 momentum to protect a single ally within close range. The next attack against that ally before the start of your next turn increases in difficulty by 1.
I would say you could do that retroactively by spending a momentum, but as you can see, they rolled a crit, so they already have a 3 on their attack roll.
Well, then I won't waste the momentum.
Okay. So let's break this down, because this is going to be interesting. So while the squids are very satisfying and easy to kill, they also have the ability to use an area effect. So narratively, what happens is, as this blue squid basically hovers into view, it arcs one of its tentacles and fires a big old ball of electricity at you guys, or big ball of plasma, I should say. And it's specifically aimed for Sez. So Sez, you're going to be taking 8 challenge die, so 8 damage before resistance. So I believe that's what, 6 overall? So take the 6 stress, but I now need to know if you're going to be avoiding the injury or not.
Yeah, I'm going to try to avoid it.
Okay, you can do that in 2 ways, I believe, and again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. To avoid an injury, you can either spend your determination to ignore it wholesale, or I believe you can spend 2 momentum to avoid the injury.
We do have 3 spare.
You do have 3 to spare?
I'll spend 2 to avoid it.
Okay. So you're down to 1 overall. And yeah, you just take... Oh, sorry for the jet. 1 second. Those are always the fun jets, the ones that sneak up on you out of nowhere. But yeah, so you take the brunt of this plasma ball. And it just sort of splashes over you, and it will hit a few other people, but you take the majority of it. And what is your overall wound situation after that, out of curiosity?
The stress is it's fitness plus
Security.
Mm-hmm. So I have 17 stress.
Okay. So you would be at a 6 out of 17 stress at the moment. And that would be the blue bar on your token. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so that is Sez. I rolled in real life, and I'm going to say that both Captain and Pog, you also will be hit by this. However, I'm going to modify the area a little bit and say that it's going to be doing 1 less damage for each of you. So that's still going to be 7 challenge die to each of you before resistance. So I believe that's still going to be an avoid the injury for each of you.
And I'm out of... We don't have enough momentum, and I'm out of determination, so I'm just going to be tanking it.
Okay, well, let's, not that taking an injury is bad here, but let's explore what you could do. You could give me a momentum and a threat, and that would satisfy the cost. You could challenge a value, and you would get a point of determination back if you did. Or you could just simply tank it, but you would be out of combat effectively.
You can also apparently pay the cost by suffering complication instead.
Oh. Well, that could happen too.
Let's go with the complication then.
Okay. So you're still going to take the damage, which for you I believe is going to be just the straight up 7. And let's deal with Captain, then we'll go to pause. So, Katakla, the complication is as this energy splashes over you, you sort of have to grit your teeth. It's almost like being electrocuted. Well, it quite literally is. So you have to grit your teeth and kind of steel your muscles against the overwhelming urge to spasm uncontrollably. And you realize moments later that your disruptor rifle is overloading and that you need to get the hell away from it as soon as possible.
All right, so he'll sort of see that and go hands down and just throw it as far away as he can.
Okay, we'll get to that on your turn. So just keep in mind that your disruptor is in the process of blowing up.
Yep.
As for Pa, do you have the Brackthul talent?
No.
Okay.
That one. I'm gonna actually give you 2 threat to avoid the injury.
Okay. All right. So no complication there. So yeah, the energy again just washes over you, and you try and steel yourself against the effects of being electrocuted, and thankfully your chair does not short out in the process.
I wince horribly.
Yeah.
The chair is hooked up to my nervous system. Does not feel good.
So, I believe that now brings us to either Pa or, Pilbrain. Or Palabrain. I'll get it right eventually.
Claus wants to return fire because he is upset.
Okay, yeah, sure. You aiming for Creature C or Creature D?
Which one blasted us?
That would be Creature C.
Yeah, the smart thing would be to go for D, but I'm going to go for C.
Okay. So, Control Security, Difficulty 2.
Handheld disruptors as a focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it and roll your damage. Would be 7 challenge dice, so go ahead and roll me another challenge die if you could. Okay. And Vicious 1, so that is 4, 5, 6. Okay. Do you want to spend anything to re-roll those 4 zeros?
Ooh, that is a lot of zeros, yeah. I didn't declare that I was aiming as a minor act, so...
Well, aiming would have only let you do the d20. It wouldn't have let you do the challenge die.
Yeah, because it's only the rifles that have accurate, not the pistols.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm going to spend that, our last bit of momentum and reload this challenge.
Okay.
4.
And that is enough. This one does not detonate. It just kind of crashes to the ground and slams into a few trees and comes to rest. But Creature C is down. And at this point, I believe it is now time for Creature D.
Mm-hmm.
So, Creature D is going to see that people are still standing. And it's going to bring up a tentacle and fire off another big old plasma strike at you guys. Good news, you all are ready for it this time. You all nimbly dodge out of the way, and it impacts harmlessly. Does kind of cause a bit of static electricity to crackle across your forms, but doesn't harm you in any way, shape, or form. And finally, we come to our lovely Serato Draco. How you doing there, buddy? What you doing?
Hanging in there.
Oh, you're roboting.
Better?
Yes, better.
I'm gonna shoot my disruptor pistol at him.
All right, Control Security, Difficulty 2.
it apparently didn't do very well.
Yeah, so unfortunately you are going to miss. And before we go ahead and start the next round of combat, well, you know what, let's finish this up as if we can. So up next, because this is a fresh round of combat, the creature is going to get to move first, since you guys obviously did first on your turn. So it is going to try and fire again. Again, guys are ready for it. Dodge out of the way. But now we come to the player's turn, and I will remind you, Captain, you do have an exploding disruptor rifle, or at least one about to go up.
Yeah, this is the point where he pitches it as far as he can.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll me let me postulate an action for you. Do you think you could hit the squid with your disruptor rifle? Like, literally using it as a throwing weapon?
I certainly could try.
Cool. Let's do a control security, and I'll be nice and say that it's only a difficulty 3.
Alrighty. So, control security. Yeah, I think I'll spend a threat to get a third die.
Okay.
Now, could I get away with classing throwing something as hand-to-hand combat?
Oh, sure. I'll let it happen. Hey, you hit it. And don't even roll damage. It's enough. So you throw your disruptor rifle up, and it impacts the squid and then detonates moments later. And all the squid are down. And that's where we're going to take our break. So be back, guys, no later, hopefully, than 3:51. And I do have a bit of music, so make sure that your volume is not blasting. And yeah, BRB. Hey, I'm unmuted for the stream. Thank you to anyone who might be watching live or on YouTube later. Always fun to see other people have fun with my little campaigns. Just as a reminder, as I seem to be saying every session, but you know, if Twitch would fix its crap, I wouldn't have to. But if you are subscribed, not just to me, but to anyone with Twitch Prime, remember you do have to manually up it at the end of every month. Also does kind of give you the opportunity to move that sub around, but you know, just as a reminder. Other thing is that if you are at all interested in a Shadowrun style thing, I'm not running an actual like player involved campaign. I'm running sort of a for anyone familiar with the lingo, I'm running what is called a quest. It's something that is not specifically to the TG board on 4chan, but the idea is basically that I write sort of a second person narrative and everybody votes on an option. It's very easy to drop in and out of. You don't need to register to vote on an option of action, things of that nature. But if you are interested in that sort of thing, there is a link on my Twitter to sort of get involved with the quest. Just kind of giving it a small shout out. And yeah, other than that, I'm going to start up some other music and wait out the next 5 minutes. And I'm back, guys.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I realized when I came back that the Star Trek Armada music was probably a little too loud, but what can you do? So I'm curious, actually, so are you using a wireless headset or is it a wired one?
I am using a wireless headset, which is probably some of the issue.
Yeah, that was my thought, is that because you are wirelessly tethered to your iPad, is that you're somehow interfering via your headset sometimes.
Actually, that would make sense, like two wireless signals sort of conflicting with each other.
Right, and the reason I say that is because it's always a consistent sort of screech, and it's usually one you'd get when something is interfering. So I guess, if you've got one, of course, try a wired thing and see if that fixes it.
Well, the shenanigans over on Critical Role have been fun this last month.
Oh yeah, of course we're not going to go into too detail about this because Lord knows I do not want communities yelling at each other, but it has been an interesting watch.
Oh. A very, very, very classic D&D maneuver, accidentally stealing a boat.
Again, not going into my full opinion, but I was... In fact, let me turn down the music a little bit. I was sort of worried that they were going to fall into the classic D&D trap of, oh, we're now pirates, and the campaign's dead. Because, you know, every well, at least in my experience, every D&D campaign that turned into let's be pirates pretty much died after 1 or 2 sessions.
Well, in this case, they do sort of have an out in that, one of the characters' backstories actually sort of slots in quite perfectly here.
Mm-hmm. So how are we liking the Klingon thing so far?
Enjoying it more than this attempt at black coffee.
I don't know if that's a critique more on the coffee or my game, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I was like, I have tried having coffee without milk on a few occasions when I've run out and I'm not able to go buy some milk, but I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, the only kind of coffee I can have straight is, and I'm going to be a bit of a snob here, it has to be done via a French press, and it has to be cold.
Whereas I exclusively drink black coffee because sugar from. So just having milk seemed.
Yeah, normally it's more like I have coffee with my milk than the other way around. So
I will drink coffee any way, shape, or form.
I'm here.
okay, I mean, if we're all here, we can end the BRB early. So let's do that. Let me kill the music. Get us off the BRB screen. Put us back here. All right, and we're back. So, just as a reminder, quick little refresher. You are currently on your way to the shelter. You have pretty much blown up 3 of the attacking squid. One of them is dead against a nearby tree. But what would you guys like to do? Remember that 3 of your party have taken some injury. Not like mechanic injury, but otherwise, you're not in tip-top shape.
Yeah. And we're kind of minus a functional shuttle.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was one thing I forgot to have you guys roll, so I'll give it to you free. Your shuttle is pilotable, and it could probably get you back up to the H'stuhmak, but, and this is a big but you would be very, very low on power. You of course could spend some time trying to regenerate some power, or maybe they have supplies at the shelter you could use to buffer your reactor. But you're not like trapped on the planet.
Yeah.
I think we need to find out if these creatures are native.
It wouldn't make sense. Assuming they came from the hive thing on the edge of the system, this might be a native species that comes out to feed on the dilithium every now and then.
Or
And they need-
a form of biological warfare.
Regardless of where these pests come from.
We did determine that the thing was warp capable, didn't we?
The structure was, but whether or not these creatures are, you have no idea.
They must be eradicated.
I agree. They are probably more trouble than they're worth. Although I'm sure some of the science boffins might like a couple of dead specimens. Imagine the usefulness of a creature that can sniff out dilithium mines.
Or a creature that can produce that much energy.
Still, first things first, let's see if there's any survivors.
All right. So give me 1 second to mess with tokens, because you guys are going to get to the shelter a little bit differently than I'd imagined. Let's see. And that is no longer there. All right. So don't be alarmed.
Get things done quickly.
Yeah. So do not be alarmed. You are not in the void of space. But this was the closest map I could find, and it just so happened to be in the tile set. So when you approach the shelter, I do have a little bit to read. All right. So when you get to the shelter, you see that it is a thermal concrete building that is set into the side of a mountain. It has a fortified door large enough for a shuttlecraft to fly through easy. And you see that there are 2 disruptor turrets, which are probably about medium power, if I had to rank them, that are sitting just outside of the doors. You are detecting minimal power signals from inside the shelter, yet it's fairly obvious that there is no power to the turrets themselves. And at the moment, the big fortified doors are just slightly ajar, not nearly enough to get a shuttle through, but enough that a person could go through them no problem.
Alrighty. Captain will sort of come up and sort of bang on the outside of the door. Oh, there!
All right. So you peer inside, Captain, and you see what is basically a hasty refugee camp. you're seeing both colonists and supplies just strewn about the place haphazardly, which speaks to just how quickly they had to get into the shelter. There is injured aplenty, and one or more colonists looks at you and your group with shock and with relief, almost like you're the best thing they've seen in their lives. However, the moment is short-lived as a rather annoyed-looking Farazan female makes her way towards you with a smaller male Farazan in tow. And that is the 2 tokens you see on the map. If I gotta find where I am. There I am. So these 2 individuals kind of walk up to you, and the female steps forward and says, "So you got our message then. I am Deputy Cecil. I am the one currently in charge. Administrator Penuri did not make it." And before you can get a word in, the other one interrupts and steps forward and says, "And I'm Dr. Shozen, the senior scientist assigned by the Klingon Science Institute to document the Bouvelia 3 system and its mines."
So, so I'd assume the deputy would have seniority here in terms of command structure?
That would be correct, yes.
Alright, so Kataka will sort of like nod to the refugee camp. How many survivors?
Deputy sighs and she says, 65, and that's being generous. There's about 10 in critical condition, which will more than likely go in the next 2 hours if they are not transported to a proper medical facility or receive treatment. Are any of you doctors?
I don't think any of us are. The Klingon Empire is not really in the business of sending doctors on away teams, but we have a few back on the ship.
Is there really a shuttle here?
No, that was the other thing, is that originally, since I thought you'd arrive in a shuttle, like I had your shuttle token ready. But since I can't get rid of the actual shuttle on the map, it's not there.
Follow-up question. Did you manage to salvage any power supplies?
Suppose it would depend on what you need. We did manage to get some equipment into the shelter along with a small store of dilithium.
Well, that might do. Yes, shuttle got brought down by a few of the creatures that attacked the settlement on the way here.
So the 2 Farazans kind of share a look, and the deputy says, "So you were attacked by him too, huh?"
Yes.
Well, I'll fill you in, get you up to speed, though I'm sure you can probably guess already. These creatures, whatever they are, they came beyond the atmosphere, and it seems they were attracted to the dilithium, and they just shut us down. We were not prepared for them at all. Everything got attacked, and we were hoping that they were asleep or that they had left, but if you were attacked... And she kind of bites her lip, and she goes on to say, "I think it's probably what you're going to do already, but I must insist that once we're all clear of the planet, that you exterminate the swarm." And again,
we suspect they're here for the dilithium, so are there any easy entrances to the mines they could have flown into?
So before the deputy can answer, Sojin is going to interrupt and say, "You can't just bombard them. This is a new and beautiful life form. What happened here is a tragedy, yes, but they're not to blame for simply trying to survive. You know, as well as I do, deputy, that the boreholes we found near the played-out dilithium deposits means that they have been here for some time, feeding on dilithium. We have no right to exterminate them."
And apart from anything else, their bodies are pretty much laced with the stuff, so any attempt to blow them up will probably put a crack in the planet.
Yeah, and he snaps his fingers and points at you and he says, "Exactly. You mean to believe that you think you can blow up that many dilithium-based creatures and not destroy the planet in the process? Madness, I say. Madness."
So what's this about boreholes that you mentioned?
So obviously the deputy looks rather annoyed, but Doctor kind of steps forward over closer to you and says, "Well, it seems that the creatures have a way of drilling into the rock to get at the dilithium, and the boreholes we found were not of our design, and after we saw the creatures and compared it to one of the dead ones, we're pretty sure that they are indeed from the creatures and that they've been either in the system or on the planet for quite a long period of time.
Yes, we believe we actually ran into a hive of sorts that they originated from as we were coming into system.
So Doctor looks at you eagerly and says, "Oh, please continue." But before you can, the deputy kind of cuts across him and says, "I'm sure this is great for all you eggheads, but we have wounded here. We need to get them medical attention. If none of you are doctors, then do you have a shuttle? Can we take them to your ship on a shuttle?"
How many critically injured do you have?
10 about.
Probably more than the shuttle can handle.
I would
we're
say
gonna have to.
your shuttle can handle up to 15 people, standing room only.
Okay.
Might have to take a couple trips.
Can they stand?
Definitely no. Even moving them is precarious.
All right. Our best bet will then. All right, then our best bet will probably be to call in the H'stuhmak.
H'stuhmak, yeah.
Call in the H'stuhmak and have them send more shuttles down and give them advance warning of the creatures.
Captain, why are you even entertaining these fools? This doctor here speaks of rights and life forms. What right do we have? We have the right to kill them because they are in our way and they are taking our dilithium. I say we go and kill these creatures first, and then we will bring someone to help these pitiful wretches.
I have another option.
Listening.
It's these creatures probably cannot survive the vacuum space. And if we try to destroy them, it'll detonate some of the dilithium, cracking the planet like an egg. I've always wanted to destroy a planet. I say we set charges, take care of the creatures, and we have easier access to dilithium in the newfound asteroid belt.
I'm not willing to destroy that much dilithium just to deal with the problem quickly. Nope.
But cracking a planet like an egg would be glorious.
It would also destroy pretty much all the dilithium. No, this is a situation where more scientific heads must prevail. We do not have enough information to deal with this problem on our own. I say we get these people back into the Empire, get the science and notify the Science Institute, and have them devise a method of removing these pests without destroying the resources.
You are no more foolish than they are. The 7th precept of the case says leave nothing till tomorrow. You merely delay the extermination. You know what the higher-ups will order you to do.
Oh, I know what they'll do. It's the support and resources they'll supply in doing so that I'm concerned about. Nope.
What if
my mind is made up? Call the H'stuhmak. Arrange relief parties to come and pick all these people up.
Perhaps we could catch one of these creatures. If we could vivisect it, maybe we find some way of luring them out.
That would be the most efficient way of doing it. Or get it organized.
All right. So I guess my first pressing question is, who tries to raise the H'stuhmak?
Captain will try doing that.
Okay. You don't get through. You can get to the shuttle, sure, but you're not getting to the H'stuhmak.
All right. Well, I'll have to do this the hard way there. We'll have to fly back up there on the shuttle. Now, you said you had some dilithium reserves in here. How much?
Deputy kind of looks over her shoulder at what you would see in the back is kind of I would say 2 or 3 big old minecarts full of this stuff. And she says, enough to power a Negvar-class vessel for a couple years. Why?
Well, our shuttle took a bit of a hit. Drained most of the power banks. It'd probably get back into orbit on its own, but not if it got attacked by those creatures again. I reckon we could take one of the smaller crystals and rig it up to sort of reinforce the power on the shuttle's reactor, he says, turning to Plabrine.
In theory, that should work. Did I let you into better?
Better.
Yep.
That should work. Getting more dilithium, recharge it.
All right. Well. All right. Well, you and me, we'll take the dilithium back and get the shuttle repaired and back into orbit. The rest of you, I'll leave you to capture one of the creatures.
Okay. So we are going to kind of split the party here a little bit. Doctor and Plabrine, you guys are going to go back to the shuttle. So I'll kind of put you over here. We'll do a says and pa in a little bit, so I'll just put you over here. And
leave the two who really hate each other alone.
yeah. But we'll do it.
No way this can go wrong.
Yeah, we'll do it the captain's party first. So yeah, you're more than able to get a good chunk of dilithium. It is unrefined, so it is a little unstable, but you think you can manage. And you head back to the shuttle post-haste.
It only needs to last for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's all you really need. But you head back to the shuttle, and I need one of you to roll me a daring or control plus engineering at a difficulty of 3. And you can assist one another on it, but just remember that when you assist, you only roll 1 die. And at the moment, you do not have any momentum, it seems.
Yep.
My daring engineering's a 14. Do you want me to take the lead?
Definitely. I've only got a 1 in engineering. Alright, so I just roll 1 dice in daring engineering?
Yep.
Would systems maintenance count as a focus?
Oh yeah, I'd say that applies. Alright, so no
nothing
help from the
me.
captain.
I'm going to give you a threat for a 3rd die.
Okay. Hey, 3's all you need. So yeah, working together, Captain Moore just providing a calm, reassuring presence. You are able to get the shuttlecraft fired back up to full power. And my question is, would you go to pick up the wounded, or would you immediately return to the H'stuhmak?
I'd say immediately return to the H'stuhmak, where we'll have more luck getting everyone out if we come back in with a fleet of shuttlecraft.
Okay. So, as you two are thusly back on your way up to the H'stuhmak, we're going to go to Pog and Sez. So, obviously, you guys feel very strongly one way, so I'm not going to say you are searching for the creatures, but the Dr. Shozen, is kind of looking between the two of you, trying to get a feel for if he should volunteer to come with you or if he should stay the hell out of the way.
I am not looking inviting at all at him.
Yes, you do not need to, unless you want to serve as bait.
Well, I'm simply curious. Seems you just have disruptors with you. How would you stun a creature?
That is a good question.
And one we do not have to answer. You'll take what you get.
Do you have a proposal, Doctor?
I've thought about it, and I suppose an inverse energy signature that is comparable to their internal power source might do the trick, but I definitely don't have the resources here to rig up such a thing.
Would you have any supplies nearby we could retrieve for you to construct such a device?
Sure, if you want to go all the way back to the colony.
How long of a journey is that?
On foot,
hour.
it's going to take you an hour, hour and a half. And there is the risk that the squids could attack.
And it says, perhaps we should have some sort of net or grounding rod. If they are channeling energy, if we put a harpoon in them, connected to a metal cable, that might ground them and shut off their power and electricity.
Very well. If you can fashion some makeshift weapon against these creatures, do it. But do it fast. You don't have the patience to sit here. There are enemies for me to kill.
All right. So Shozen doesn't look entirely pleased with this idea, but it's the best one he's got. So he'll run off, and we'll say after about 10 minutes he returns. He's got a spool of cable on one of those dollies that lets you roll it around and kind of spools it out as needed. He's got it attached to a pointy bit of metal, probably looks more like a chair leg that has been quite literally sliced off and filed to a point. And it's attached to the cable, and he just sort of says, well, best I could manage. And before any of you can really say anything else, the deputy walks over and says, you're going to spend your time trying to capture a creature. What of our safety here in the shelter? Can you restore power to our turrets at all?
We are not scientists. We cannot. Not our duty to protect you. You can join us in the hunt.
Oh, man.
If you feel safety in numbers, or you can sit here huddling, cowering.
Stay in your holes and leave this to us. If you get out, the best thing you can do is just get out from under our feet.
Kind of looks at you both side-eyed and says, well, I can see someone's targ woke them up wrong in the morning, but I'm not going to press the issue.
We've lost your audio, Neil.
Hey, you got me now? Eh?
Yep, there we go.
All right. She basically makes a comment about how your targ woke you up on the wrong side of the bed, but isn't going to press the issue.
Alrighty.
And yeah, at this point, I need someone, well, probably Cez or Pog, I need you to roll me another luck check. I really think there should be a system for this, but just go ahead and roll me a D100, one of you. And again, lower is better.
Ooh.
Hey, and hey, I see Drake. How you doing there, buddy?
I am good and entirely overworked, and yeah.
Cool. Well, this is actually a good opportunity to introduce your character in about a couple minutes, so hang in there tight, and we'll get you in a moment.
Sounds good.
All right. So, those of you on the hunting party, how far would you stray out from the shelter at this point? Would you go out maybe towards where the shuttle was? Would you go farther? Like, how far from the shelter are you going?
I say we just head towards the mine and see what springs up.
Okay.
What we can flush out.
So I would say in that case, with a roll of an 85, you do see a gathering of these creatures about the mines, and they do appear to be feasting on the rocks, but their numbers are immense. This is not something you could easily pick off one individual without alerting the others.
Do you have a plan for this?
Yes, we kill the others and leave one alive.
All right.
This does not sound good to you?
Well, so if we target one in the middle with our disruptors and it explodes, it might cause a detonation between the other. Chain reaction as
Doctor kind of speaks up. It would also likely cause a chain reaction in the unmined dilithium. Just gonna throw that out there.
Then we can always bait a trap like we would a targ. These whatever clearly feast on the dilithium. Not just create a dilithium bait trap for them.
Doctor kind of looks at the two of you. Did you bring any dilithium? Because I didn't.
Well, then we will go back and get some.
All right, so three of you head back towards the shelter, and that's where we're going to cut to the war room of the H'stuhmak. So, Captain and Plabrine, you guys have redocked with the H'stuhmak, and waiting for you in the war room is Commander Gorteg, or Gortag, however you want to say it. So, Drake, if you want to briefly introduce your character, tell us anything we should know about them, and then we'll hop into the RP.
The main outwardly thing about him is he is actually of the same house as its captain, and he is known for actually not taking any of his captain's crap, and has been kicked off more than one ship for assaulting his captain.
Mhm.
Hence why he's now working on a ship captained by a member of his house.
Okay. And
In
to
the
bring
hopes that
you,
it'll at least keep him reeled in.
yeah.
Yes.
And to bring you very quickly up to speed, basically the H'stuhmak responded to a distress call. The away team that was sent down ran into squid-like creatures. They're sort of translucent and blue and neon. The creatures seem to be feeding on dilithium, and that's as much information as you would know.
And they explode when you shoot them.
That too.
Gotcha.
Oh, also, my half-brother is getting married to someone in the Klingon Science Institution. We got an invite.
So pack your good clothes.
I'll make sure to get all of the blood off of my armor.
Yeah.
Alright, so... yeah, so Captain and Lieutenant Plabrine come back in a banged-up-looking shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And after having explained the situation... Alright, so... As of right now, there's not really anything we can do about these creatures that wouldn't also result in destroying a large chunk of the dilithium deposits. So my current plan is to rescue the remaining survivors, stick them in the ship's hold, and then head back to the Science Institute and get them to come up with a method of pest control that leaves the dilithium intact.
Are we worried about these things overrunning the mine more than they already have?
I mean, they've already taken out over nearly 2/3 of the base personnel and left the colony itself more or less abandoned, so it's not like they can do more damage than they have already.
True. And if our enemies come to take the dilithium, well, they'll find the surprise.
So the next question, of course, is how to get a whole bunch of shuttles down without them getting mobbed by the creatures. And to that end, I would like to field a law question. Can Vorchar cruisers enter an atmosphere?
Well, technically any ship can enter an atmosphere. It's actual landing and or leaving the atmosphere that's the question.
Oh, well, I'm not intending to land the thing. I'm just intending to bring it in as a distraction.
I would say you could probably do that, but before you can
it's a case of Klingons would certainly be reckless enough. It's just, would this thing actually be able to fire weapons within the atmosphere and hit something?
Well, before you can really dive too much into that, klaxons begin to sound, the Klingon equivalent of a red alert.
Rush to the bridge.
All right, so you rush to the bridge, and whoever is sitting in the big chair obviously gets the hell out of it and says, "Sir, the structure
Report.
we found earlier in the Oort cloud is now moving towards the planet, and..."
Oh, you're gobbling.
Am I garbling now?
You were
a
sounding
little
fine
bit.
for me.
Hang on, let me try disconnecting and reconnecting.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so the next question, of course, is how to get a whole bunch of shuttles down without them getting mobbed by the creatures. And to that end, I would like to field a question. Can Vorchar cruisers enter an atmosphere?
Well, Yeah, you were fine for me too. So
Okay. Any better, Merthrin?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. Sir, where the Oort cloud structure has moved into near orbit, or is starting to move into orbit, and it is disgorging multitudes of the creatures. And I'm going to put you on this map. And I probably should dim the grid a little bit, but obviously planets over here. I'll move it for the stream in a little bit. Planets there. The H'stuhmak is roughly where it is. And then you see, obviously, 4 of the squid-like creatures coming towards the planet. There's also a different-looking squid surrounded by 3 squid. And then there's obviously the structure, but I didn't put a token for the structure because it's not really doing anything. But I can put one down if you want.
That's fine. Alright. Well, this moves up our timetable a bit. Alright.
Well, we now know that they are spacefaring.
Alright.
Heads up that you don't have your tactical officer with you.
Shields up, weapons primed, start acquiring locks. Hang on, what was my second in command's name?
Gore-Tech.
Gore-Tech, get the shuttles, get all the shuttles out and fielded, get them down to pick up the survivors. We'll hold them off up here until everyone's up.
Aye, Captain.
All right.
And as Gore-Tech's leaving the bridge, he'll grab one of the, just for flavor's sakes, grab one of the guys that's probably security by the shoulder and shove him into the turbo lift with him.
Okay. So we're going to handle this a little bit interesting.
Captain Ktockler will sort of settle down in the commander chair. Now then, let's have a bug hunt.
Yeah. So I don't want to do full ship combat here, and we are having to deal with scenes both in space and on the planet. So we're going to handle things a little bit differently. We're just going to say that the creatures are going to have a turn, the players as a group are going to have a turn, and we'll just alternate between them.
Sounds good.
Cool.
So the question I have for you is, which among you players wants to act first? Or rather, I should say, is the ground team acting, is the shuttle team acting, or is the H'stuhmak acting?
Probably the ground team or the shuttle. Like, the H'stuhmak is basically just going to fight a delaying action, just like spread the shots, get their attention, stop them from going after the shuttles.
Okay. So let's do ground team. So ground team, you've returned to the shelter, and you are preparing a dilithium mixture, or some sort of bait, when the deputy kind of shouts from the entrance, and she says, we got a whole bunch of those things inbound. Told you we should have got those turrets up and running.
Oh, we're on the ground team?
Yeah, it would be Pog says, yeah, just you two on the ground team.
So they've got the turrets up and working.
No, that was her saying that you should have.
Oh.
Well, how many is a few? It's like,
So you look out the door and you see a swarm.
excellent. Plenty of targets to take one alive. Get our harpoon ready.
I'll have the harpoon ready.
Okay.
This is either going to make a good drinking song, or we're all about to die in the most embarrassing way possible.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, are you really just going to kind of wait until they get close enough to harpoon them, or are you going to shoot disruptors at them? Are you going to get the turrets up and running? What's the play here?
Oof.
You do have a couple of crate loads of dilithium.
Mm-hmm.
How explosive is dilithium when, say, hit by a disruptive blast?
Very. Especially the unrefined stuff.
How far away are they? How much time do we have?
I'd say you got 10 minutes before they're on you.
I say we wheel out some dilithium as serve as a bait and also a target for us to hit and take them out.
I will let you do the wheeling out.
Are you better at engineering? Do you think you can get the cannons working?
I am used to dealing with weapons. I can try.
All right. I will wheel out some crates of dilithium or drag them out. You deal with getting the turrets going.
Okay. So, while Pog is doing that, says, what is your engineering score out of curiosity?
That's a 4.
Hey, that's actually quite a good. Do you have focus in fact, let me just look at your focuses here.
Disruptor, shipboard tactical systems, EVA, and hand-to-hand.
Okay, yeah, that's more than enough. If you want to roll me a daring plus engineering, I am going to make the difficulty here let's make it a 4. But if you succeed, the turrets will be up and running and will buy you time.
Any focuses apply?
I would say more than one applies here. Okay. Would you care to re-roll via determination?
I have to use a value to use determination?
Correct.
I'm just trying to think about which one. Maybe my seek adversity value or die standing up.
I'd say die standing up is probably a good one.
All right, then yeah, I'll reroll one.
Okay, well, you can re-roll as many as you want, so could be just one, could be the 2 zeros, whatever you feel like. Hey, there's the 4 successes you need. So, in classic Klingon fashion, you perform a little percussive maintenance, a little swearing in Klingon, and turrets come back online. And they immediately begin disgorging bolts of disruptor fire at the oncoming swarm. And sure, there's some good explosions along the way, but there's just so many of these things that it's only a matter of time. If you want to imagine Starship Troopers, how the bugs just kept coming, yeah, kind of like that. And that'll be the first turn for the players. And meanwhile, in orbit, I need, let's see, as this group up here gets a little bit closer to the planet, I need, Plobrine, I need you to roll me a...
Wait, would my quick action apply?
I would say no, because we're doing this a little bit differently. Your quick to action basically gave Pog time to get the bait out, or like the dilithium mine out where it should be. Yeah. But I need either a insight science or an insight medicine at a difficulty of 2 from Plobrine, please.
Would any of my focuses apply?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's take a look at your focuses. Let's see. I would say observation would apply. I will say you could succeed at cost, but it would give me 2 threat.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. So, you're looking at the oncoming swarm of these squid things. And in doing so, it occurs to you that the one big difference you're seeing among one of them is that this one with a different token, it is not only larger than the others, but it is of a purple color. Everything else is of a sort of glowing neon blue. This is sort of a glowing neon purple. And what you do with that information is up to you.
Captain, there's one that is a different design than the others. It's purple instead of blue and much larger. If these are similar to insectoids in social structure, that could be the queen.
So these bugs, do they look like they're sort of coordinated at all?
It does look like they are coordinated somewhat. They are not moving just haphazardly. It does seem, though, that they're headed straight for the planet, and they do not seem to care about the H'stuhmak at the moment.
Let's see if we can't get these things to prioritize us. Aim for that thing, fire a couple of shots. Aim to debilitate.
So, just to be clear, you are now aiming for the queen?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's check some ranges here.
Probably Disruptor Banks.
Yep, would be your disruptor banks. And who would be firing them? It would be either yourself or Plobrine at this point.
Probably not me. I'm just doing commanding rather than actually firing.
Okay.
I guess it's me.
I guess it's you.
Assuming you actually have any sort of focuses that apply. Because I have Helm Operation, but that's it.
I have sensor operation, and that's it. I have computers, but that wouldn't be weapons.
Yeah, it doesn't help you here.
Well, how high is your security?
A 3.
Okay, I've probably got a slightly better chance, though, because I've got decent con and security.
Okay. So, Captain, I
Alrighty.
guess. Control security, difficulty 2.
Helm Operations doesn't really focus on weapons. That's more for piloting.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, 2's all you need. Go ahead and roll me some disruptor bank damage.
Alrighty. Once I double check. 10. Oof.
Wow. I'm going to have to spend some threat here.
And I think these have Vicious 1 as well.
Yeah, so that's 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend some threat so it'll remain alive. But yeah, you hit this thing good. And it's... Obviously, you can hear it, but the entire swarm, even on the planet, halts for just a second. And then it moves with renewed fury. So let me math here.
Towards the planet or towards us?
Those in orbit towards you, those on the planet faster towards the shelter.
Alrighty.
I can math today. Hold on. Okay, so it's that much damage to this after resistance. Okay, so that would be the player's turn. So we go back around to the squids. And let me check ranges on this. Okay. So this one's going to go here. This one's here. That one there. This one here. And all 4 of them are going to open fire on the H'stuhmak. So I'm going to roll 4 times and we'll see what we get. All right, that's 1 hit. 2 hits. 3 hits. All right, so your resistance on the H'stuhmak is 6, I believe, 7.
And both of those sound feasible?
What do I have on the sheet?
7.
Yeah, it's 7. Okay.
Skill 5 plus ablative armor.
All right, so I don't believe any of those get past your resistance. However, it does have dampening, which means a power gone for every single effect. So let's count effects here. All right, so that's 1 effect, 2 effects, 3, 4 effects. Okay, so you're down a total of 5 power. Oop. Yep, just 5.
All right.
So
No,
you are down
I like the power bar better the other way.
So yeah, you are down to more than half your power left remaining. And yeah, that is the the turn up on the in space. Down on the planet, one of the creatures manages to get closer towards the shelter and get a shot off. It is going to be destroyed by the disruptor turrets shortly thereafter, but it is going to get a shot off. Good news, it splashes harmlessly against the door, and no one is worse for the wear. And we come back around to the players. This time we're going to go to our lovely commander. So, Commander, you're aware vaguely of what's going on. The ship is rocking and the lights are flickering. But you can, of course, launch the shuttles down towards the planet if you so wish.
I do. And we will launch... Well, we'll launch all of them.
Okay.
And I will pilot one of them because... Like my captain, I don't have any actual like weapons focuses, but I'm a really good helm operator.
Okay.
So,
Trying to think how I want to roll this.
Lead that battle wing of shuttles.
exactly, especially with the other focus of lead by example. Just saying.
Hey, there you go. Go ahead and roll me a control plus con. Difficulty here is only going to be a 1. And we'll say that the shuttle is going to assist him with engines plus con. So whoever wants to roll the shuttle.
And applicable focus for helm operations.
Oh, yeah. Hey, there's 2 successes already. Hey, it's a momentum. So yeah, Gortek, you lead this armada of shuttlecraft down towards the planet, and along the way you dodge and weave out of the way of fire coming from these squid-like creatures. And you make it down to the planet into the atmosphere, but you're not quite to the shelter just yet.
All right.
And that's where we come to now the squid thing's turns again. So I'm sort of regretting not putting a token here, so let me just draw something real quick to represent the hive. We'll do it in neon blue. So we'll say that that blue circle is the actual hive structure. And what you're seeing is that it is now disgorging 4 more entities for its turn.
Ooh.
All right. And technically, we are now at the beginning of a new round. So those of you dealing with ship systems, your task has refreshed. But which one of you teams would like to go next?
Well, let's see if the H'stuhmak can't even things out a little.
Okay.
I guess whichever NPC is in charge of ship power systems, put him in charge of getting some power back.
All right, so my question is, would you want him to actually do the regenerate power option? Because that would be your turn up in orbit.
Good question. I should probably actually, for the actual turn, should probably thin out some of these guys. Because we're going to have more coming in next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's switch to the disruptor cannons and see if we can't take out a couple of these.
Okay. So that's going to be, again, control security, difficulty 2. You know, I think it'll be nice and say that it's such close range, and given the nature of the creatures, if you do enough damage, I'll grant the area effect to the resulting
Alrighty.
explosion. Not enough.
Pretty good threat to buy thing.
Unfortunately.
Oh, well, the shots fly everywhere.
Yeah, so disruptor fire fires everywhere. It's like Worf is at command of security, and it just goes everywhere.
Ramming speed!
Oh god. Alright, so that's going to be the H'stuhmak's turn, or at least all the players. So for the Squid's turn, 2 of these are going to go for the shuttlecraft, and the other 2 are going to go for the H'stuhmak. As for the Queen, she's actually going to move back to about here. Move them right about there, while these advance. Okay. All right, so let's roll for the shuttlecraft first. Good news is to hit a shuttlecraft, it is a more difficult roll. That one misses. They need 3 successes, so that one misses. That one also misses. So yeah, Gortog, you're flying, bobbing and weaving, and sure enough, squids aren't giving you any problem. Now, the H'stuhmak might have a little bit of a problem. Let's see. Nope. And nope. So yeah, everybody's fine. So we come back around to the player's turn. Which team wants to go next?
I guess the ground team will go.
Okay. Okay. And remember, quick to action is only the first round of combat, so it's going to be one of you on the ground team. So either Pog or you.
Are any of them close enough for me to use the harpoon on?
I would say that a few are getting close, but the cannons are pretty much just firing rapidly at anything that gets close. So you would have to limit the outgoing fire, but yeah, you could conceivably get one closer.
Then that's what I'd do.
Okay.
I'll kind of tell them to kind of like disrupt their fire a bit, so that one can get closer.
So the deputy says, "Are you mad? They'll kill us in a moment."
Which is it? Do you want us to defend you, or do you want to collect one of these alive?
I don't give two shits either way. It's only the doctor here that wants one alive.
And then I toss the harpoon to the side. Then and just, you pitiful wretches. And then I just use the disruptor rifle and just start indiscriminately firing at one.
Okay. So we'll say for your turn you fire off several shots into the swarm. There's enough of them, you're going to hit one. But do roll me your control security anyway, because we're looking to see if you get a complication.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty would be a 2. Yeah, good news. You didn't roll a complication, so that's all that matters. All right. So that is the H'stuhmak's turn for down on the planet. Let's see. So for the squid's turn, 2 more are going to be ejected from the hive, and that will be its turn. So we come back around to the players. Which one of you would like to go next?
I think I'm the only one left for shuttles.
See if we can get the shuttles down on the ground and picking people up.
Okay. So this is going to be a joint task, and it's going to be a back-to-back thing. So first, you have to avoid incoming fire, which I'm going to say is a daring plus con at difficulty 2. Okay. And then you have to punch a hole through the swarm that is trying to bum rush the shelter. And that will require a control plus security at difficulty 3.
Okay.
So we have 1 momentum.
Yeah, and you do have 1 momentum.
Okay, daring plus con.
Mm-hmm.
And focus.
Helm operations. Yep. Okay.
Of course not.
So I'm just going to roll a couple challenge dice here to see how much damage you would take. Ooh, all right. So your shields are gone.
Okay. And now punch through the swarm.
Mm-hmm. So okay. Control security, difficulty 3 overall.
Bending the momentum?
Yeah. Yes, please. Applicable focus? Probably not.
Yeah, unless you got something for either starship weaponry or weaponry in general, probably not.
No, just hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, it doesn't apply here, unfortunately.
Okay. Then we will do a little bit of that.
Hey, look at that. So yeah, you are able to punch a hole through. So those of you in the shelter, you see that the swarm is thinning for some reason, and then all of a sudden, I keep using the word swarm, but a group of shuttles quite literally rams its way through the swarm and takes up firing positions to aid the disruptor cannons as a few of the shuttles land outside the shelter, and crew pop open the hatches and run into the shelter and begin ferrying people into the shuttles.
I kind of raise my rifle and do the Tusken Raider gaffa stick pump. And yes!
All right. So, at this point, I would like, Plobberine, I'd like you to roll me another insight or reason plus science, or medicine, if that would be better.
All right, I'll do a reason science. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty here is going to be a 3, and observation applies once more.
I'm going to give you a threat for a third die.
Okay. That's all you need. So what you're going to know, or not know, but what you're going to posit or gather from what you're seeing about the swarm's activity, when you hit the queen, there was obviously that disruptive influence across everything else that it was controlling. However, it also occurs to you that when it moved, its guard moved too. So it might be possible, if you were able to do it in some way, maybe via tractor beam, maybe, scaring it away with fire, however you want to do it. But if you got the queen, as it were, moving away from the planet, rest of the hive might follow.
Captain, may I make a suggestion for where we need to aim our weapons?
Let's hear it.
When we hit the queen the first time, everything responded in to protect it by going to it. If we attack the queen again, it might draw everything out.
Yes. Of course, we don't want to kill it. That might just cause them to go berserk. Right. Can you tune the disruptor banks to a low power spread?
Sure thing.
Yeah. So basically, what I wanted to do is put the power down really low and just fire a whole bunch of rapid scatter shot disruptor bolts that'll sort of spray out in a cone and will sort of hit haphazardly and just hurt rather than do any real damage.
Okay. So let's break that down. I'll say that using your quote-unquote low power mode, I will say that removes your Vicious 1 penalty, but it will not kill the entity should you hit it and roll enough damage. The second thing we need to address is that you are currently 8 units away from the queen, which is long range and thus would incur a increased difficulty if you tried to hit it with your disruptor banks.
Right, so we would need to sort of spend an action to sort of get closer.
Correct.
All right, engines to full power, punch us through.
All right, and you can move up to 6 units. So where would you like to go?
All right, let's go over there.
Okay. All right, so that's the turn in space. As for all of the creatures, some of them do reflexively begin to swarm you and try to prevent you getting to the queen. 4 of them in particular. The others go for the planet, so we'll deal with them in a moment. And these kind of move like this. So they almost form a wall between you and the queen. But let's deal with the 4 that are attacking you first. So, roll 1. Does not hit you. Roll 2. Does not hit you. Roll 3. Does hit you. Roll 4. Does hit you. So, important here, again, because you have resistance 7, is the dampening effect. So, let's see. That's 2 effects. 3, 4 effects. All right, so you are down to all of 1 power at this point. As, again, these plasma strikes erupt from the tentacles of the creatures and
lights flickering on and off in the command deck and everything, warning lights everywhere.
Exactly. And whoever is manning the engineering on the bridge says, Captain, we can't take another hit like that or we're going to be dead in the water.
Right.
But it is now, since we now are kind of in the same turn, I'll give you guys on the planet what are essentially 2 turns. So what are you guys on the planet now doing? Again, you've got maybe 2 shuttles aiding the 2 cannons that are holding off the greater hive, while the other shuttles are trying to get as many of the colonists on board and out of here as possible.
What do you want to do, Pog?
I have no plan.
Well, yeah, I've kind of given up on capturing one alive. I don't like the Doctor at all. I don't like his plan at all. So I'm just not going to follow.
We still have our little explosive charges set out there. We fired at those yet?
You
No.
have not fired at those yet.
I suppose it's a matter of whip out the disruptors and be like, when they are close, when a group of the swarms get close, fire at the dilithium container.
I shoulder my rifle and wait for the moment.
Okay. While you do that, Commander, what are you up to?
Yelling at all of the crew to get everybody on board, and Pog is the engineer, or is it?
He is helm.
I am the helm.
Okay. Yeah, probably just yelling at people to hurry up, drag the people from the colony on into the shuttles, and then focus, like telling the other shuttles where to focus fire to and all of that.
Okay. I'd like you to roll me a presence command, please. The difficulty will be a 1.
All right, and applicable focus, intimidation, composure, lead by example.
Yeah, all of those would apply.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get a momentum. So, Gorteg, using your imposing presence, you get the Pharazans moving. Oh yeah, small sidebar. These are basically Darkations that you're dealing with.
Goddamn cat people.
Yeah, goddamn cat people. But the Pharazans do get moving. You get 3 shuttles loaded up to capacity. And my question for you is, do you wait to launch them, or do you launch them up all like as soon as they're filled?
Well, and then I will be very rude and answer a question with a question.
Sure.
The shields being knocked out from trying to get down here, was that all of the shuttles or just the one I am in?
I would say all of the shuttles.
Okay. Then once they are loaded, I will order them to try to get their shields back. Stay off the ground, because it doesn't look like the ones that are on the ground, can they reach us?
They are being held at bay by the combined fire. So you could conceivably make an escape, but it's one of those things where as you start to pull forces back, the turrets are only going to be able to hold off but so long. So it's kind of one of those last stand type things where you got to time your exit almost down to the second in order to get out alive.
Okay, then 100%, I will tell the other shuttles that as soon as they are loaded to beat feet, GTFO, peace out, we got priors, all of that.
Okay. Do
so
you
as soon
go
as
with
they're
them?
loaded, out. Okay. What was that? I'm sorry.
Do you go with them? Sorry, I kind of interrupted you there.
I will be the last one out, and try to get the rest of the crew onto my ship, and then kind of do the cool guy thing that as we're leaving, maybe I don't know Panek's character's name on this one yet. Can hang out the back of the shuttle and fire at the dilithium as we're leaving.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot.
Sev is down with this plan. This is way better than the doctor's plan.
But one thing I will do is I will yell at Pog to get in and either take over the helm so I can work on the shields, or vice versa.
Okay, fine.
Figuring between the two helm officers, we can figure out how to get shields back.
Okay. All right, so that's going to be all the ground people, I think. Cool. All right, so we're going to reset the rounds here, and we're going to go back up to space. So up in space, you've got 1 power left. That's enough for 1 firing of the disruptors.
Or torpedoes, which cost no power.
Torpedoes would indeed not cost power, but it would give me threat. And because you are at medium range at this point, it would be an increased difficulty.
Can I throw out a suggestion?
Suggestions are always welcome.
Do the rest of you guys think that if maybe possibly you fired a torpedo at, say, the Hive, that maybe the ships would fall back to the Hive, or would shooting at the Queen be a better shot of getting, like, maybe the rest of them to fall back on them?
And it's a case of everything would fall back and then everything would come after us. And then we'd be dead in the water. So... It's Good question.
Or use the power to fall back to the planet to pick up the rest of the shuttles, and then go to warp with the last little bit of the power?
Could do that.
We can't warp out of the system, though, because of the aura cloud.
Okay, I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So, well, let's say this: you could warp out, because what everybody forgets about space is that space is 3D. You could just warp up, and you would be able to avoid the Oort cloud. It's just, for narrative's sake, everything is on a 2D plane, but you got to remember there's a 3D aspect to space.
Yeah, I'm trying to work because we need to sort of clear some stuff off for the shuttles coming up, but yeah, no, we can't afford to take another hit, and we can't move and regain power, right?
I would say you would have to give me either 2 momentum or 2 threat, and you do have a momentum at the moment, so however you want to handle that.
I forgot about that. So yeah, I'm thinking spend the 2 momentum to do a regain power action just to give us a buffer.
Okay.
And then now that now that we've drawn enough people away from the planet, double back and sort of swoop by to pick up the shuttles, and then just do a almost blind warp jump to get clear.
Okay, so let's break that down. And I'm just going to walk through what you just said. So your first action would be to regenerate power, and that would involve a task, obviously. Your second action, which you would maybe spend some threat or momentum to keep the initiative, would be to move the ship so that the shuttles can get on board. And then your third action, when it comes back around to your turn. Okay, yeah. So when it comes around to your turn again as a third action, and hopefully all the shuttles are on board by that point, as the third action, you warp out of the system. That about right?
All right. Yep.
Okay. So let's do power management first. That is going to be either a daring or control plus engineering. And that is going to be at a difficulty of 2, which can succeed at cost. And on success, you get 1 point of power plus 1 additional power per momentum spent.
Okay.
I'm shooting for a 14 with daring engineering.
Yeah, I think you've got a higher engineering than me, because I've only got an engineering of 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd only be on an 11, so yep. We'll let you do the regenerating roll.
System maintenance
does
as a
the ship assist with
focus.
that, or is that just the player?
The ship does not assist with this, unfortunately.
I mean, but the ship really wants its power back, though.
It does.
Succeed with cost it is.
Well, no. You're right. Sorry. So this is what the succeed at cost is going to be. You are able to restore 1 point of power unless you want to spend threat or momentum to get more. But the only way for you to do that, actually, you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you 3 power, bring you up to a total of 4. But to do that, you got to pull power from weapons.
Could we pull power from shields?
I would say it's either going to be weapons or you only get the 1 power.
All right, weapons. All right, pull power from weapons then.
All right. So that's your first action. Your second action is going to cost 2 momentum, a momentum and threat, a threat, or 2 threat, or a determination. So I need to know what you're spending to keep the initiative.
Momentum and threat.
Okay, so the momentum and threat. And where did you want to move again?
Right there. So the shuttles can sort of divert past and reach us.
Okay. So that is going to be the entire H'stuhmak's turn. Now, the creatures are going to be able to respond to this. So let me clean this up a little bit here. So these are essentially down on the planet, don't care. These 2 also down on the planet, don't care. We'll say 2 are able to mob the shuttles on the way up, and we'll deal with those first. And then we'll deal with the 3 that continue to follow the H'stuhmak in an attempt to harry it to death. So we'll deal with the shuttles first. And again, they need 3 successes to hit the shuttles. So first roll, do not hit the shuttles. Second roll, do not hit the shuttles. Shuttles, fine. You're able to get up into orbit, and you are streaking like a bat out of hell towards the H'stuhmak to safety.
Question.
Yes.
Do Klingon shuttles have tractor beams at all?
They do not. Which is... I think I know where you were going with that, but unfortunately I looked it up, and as far as I could tell, no Klingon shuttle has a tractor beam. It's weird.
Fair enough.
I
don't think many Federation shuttles have that.
Yeah. But no, so for the H'stuhmak, we now have to see if the 3 attacking creatures, A, hit you, and if so, B, if you will have enough power. So let's get those rolls underway.
So I'm assuming we need at least 1 power to warp.
Correct. So, first attack will hit you. Second attack will not hit you. Third attack does not hit you. So, how many effects did they roll? They rolled 3 effects, which means you are down to 1 power once more.
Oh, just as well we took that 3 power.
Mm-hmm. But no, at this point, and this will wrap it up narratively, shuttles, I need either Pog or I need the commander to roll me a daring plus con at a difficulty of 3, and if you succeed, the shuttles get on board and you warp away. If you do not succeed, then you're going to lose a shuttle or 2.
That seems like my job. So difficulty 3?
Difficulty 3. In fact, I'm also going to spend some threat because I'm a dick, and I'm going to make the complication range a 16 to 20.
All right, well, I'm going to actually give you an extra threat by buying a dice.
Okay.
That's what I do. All right. Combat maneuvers is a focus?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that.
What
So-
a finish by the shuttle? Fish for...
Yeah. No, you're fine. So, again, narratively what happens is during this dogfight, the H'stuhmak is turning this way and that to dodge fire. The shuttles are doing much the same. They're moving this way and that in different evasive patterns. And the small craft and the larger Vorcha hook up, and there's this sort of rapid onboarding of shuttles. Like, you just scream them into the bay as fast as can be done. And the very second that all of the shuttles are on board, the H'stuhmak turns and goes to warp.
Yeah, just the nose just sort of rises up and goes up and up, hits about 80 degrees, and then...
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you guys are out of combat. And we'll sort of have an after scene in the war room here.
Glorious victory there. That victory was for Georgiki Cern. As I scratched the name off the list, my dead crewmate.
Mm-hmm.
And as a lesser member of the house and an underling, I will bring the captain a mug of blood wine, hand it to him, and clink goblets.
I'll do that and then heartily chug it back.
So, just for both ease of getting this out in the narrative, and because I think they would want to be present, both the deputy and the doctor would be present for your meeting and your celebration.
I do not celebrate a long, honorless patak.
Ha ha! You need to loosen up, my friend.
I sneer back at the captain.
Yeah, so the deputy swigs a bit of her blood wine and says, "Well, Captain, I appreciate the assist. It seems we got all of the remaining colonists off to safety. Honestly, you can just drop us off either with a freighter or whatever colony is nearest. But I do have to ask, what is your report to High Command going to say? Are we going to fight for this planet or not?"
Oh, absolutely. This planet is... So the resources alone make it worthwhile, but more than that, I have to admit, these creatures are fascinating.
They are pests. They eat our dilithium and destroy
not
our
just
colony.
dilithium, they sniff it out. They can find it from across star systems. Now, wouldn't that be something to control?
We have scanners and sensors. We have been able to find dilithium without them. You would
Imagine-
rather...
But scanners and sensors can cause diplomatic incidents. They can strain relationships. Bloodhounds, on the other hand.
And almost to add in, you go ahead. You go ahead.
And then, as Gortek will walk around while all that's going on, put his arm around Sez's neck and look at the doctor. And as far as dropping you off as soon as we can, there's an airlock outside that door.
Nice.
And then clink glasses with Sez and chug the rest of his blood wine.
Nice. And the doctor just kind of says, mostly to himself, but anyone can hear it in the room. The doctor says, they process dilithium more efficiently than our best reactors, and their weapons can neutralize an enemy without destroying them. If we could study the creatures, that would be one hell of... We could probably manage more than one technological breakthrough. The possible results are, well, exciting to say the least.
Well, Dr. Shosen, lucky for you, we're on our way to a wedding, and I have a friend in the Science Institute who might be able to get a word in for you.
And I think that is actually the perfect moment to end the session. So that is the first session of the little Klingon mini campaign, guys. Remember, the next 2 weeks, barring any problems, we will continue. Obviously, different mission, but we'll be returning to these characters for the next couple weeks. But we'll do it on stream. How did you guys feel about the session in general? Was there anything you liked? Anything you didn't like? Things of that nature.
I didn't like the fact that I wasn't here for half of it, but that's completely not your guys' fault.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know I could do anything about that, but...
No, you really couldn't. But no, it was good. It was cool.
Cool.
I especially like the roleplay from people that normally I don't get to see them roleplay like this, so that was pretty cool. And one last thing, especially if he's still in the Twitch chat. McCall, you have no power here.
Oh, poor Skull. Poor Skull.
Is he in the Twitch chat?
He was earlier.
He was, and he says, I tuned in and you were fighting one of those things. Now there's a whole fleet of them. I can't leave you guys alone for 2 minutes, can I?
I don't know, it was great. We were able to sort of just fire warning shots without knowing exactly what we were firing warning shots at, and this thing's causing a problem. Shoot it down.
Mm-hmm.
I loved, as soon as I got home, the first thing I heard was Says shoving somebody out of the way and just shooting double tapping one of the things in the head. And that was, I was like, all right, we're actually playing Klingons.
Yep.
Oh, all right. So let me end the stream, but players, stick around for a little bit. So anyone watching on Twitch or on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see these guys next week. Bye-bye.